But can one of us or two of us or a handful of us who are living as close to this source energy, from a place of divine love,
Of course, but
can't we impact like millions of people?
You can, because one who's connected to this energy is more powerful than millions who aren't. Yeah. But the thing that is interesting, your mother couldn't get your attention. You see what we're getting at? In other words, there she is, pure positive energy,
right,
focused on you all day, every day.
Right.
And you had to be in the right frequency in order to hear her. And so that's the way it is with Source. Source is in that high frequency. But you got to be in the vicinity in order to feel it. And until you've felt it, you can't know it. You can't get it from our words. No one can get it from your words. Nothing can replace that releasing of resistance that happened to you at that gravesite that day. There just aren't enough words in the world to explain what happened. But you experienced the releasing of resistance and the aligning with source energy and with your Father in that moment, you see.
It's been my teaching mission almost to encourage people to you call it contrast, but to rid ourselves. I mean, it was an act of forgiveness, if you will, that totally transformed my entire life and affected millions.
We know,
and
but what
of
took
people.
you so long to get there? In other words, that's what's happening to everyone.
Yeah.
They would feel better if they would think thoughts that feel better.
Right.
But there's this thing you've been taught that Esther said to us, but Abraham, it's true. It's true. Therefore, shouldn't I think about it? This happened to me. This is a true thing.
Right.
And we said to her many times, there are many things that are true that feel good when you focus upon them. And there are many things that are true that feel horrible when you focus upon them. We would be selective, because when you focus upon the things that feel horrible, you're out there on the raw and ragged edge without your source. Now, not really without your source, because source never stops perceiving life through you. But you've got yourself pinched off so that you don't recognize it, you see.
Can't someone who's living closer to source energy, impact like in a family or in a community? Or
certainly.
Isn't that what Abraham is doing?
Certainly.
Is that what you are doing? I'm sorry.
Certainly, but they have to be ready. They have to be in the vicinity. You can't set your radio dial on 98 and hear what's being broadcast on 101. The frequencies have to match up. And what happens with people is then they become self-degrading. In other words, they beat up on themselves when things aren't going well. And we just want them to understand it was a vibrational choice that they have some control over if they will try a little bit. That's why we're so excited about talking you into, first thing in the morning, just finding some general thought that feels good and try to stay there until some momentum gets going. And show yourself how this day is different because you did that. And after 30 days of doing that, you'll know what we're talking about.
What about the last 5 minutes before you go to sleep? Which is what I tell people in talks often, is that when you are in slumber, that your subconscious mind starts to get programmed.
Yeah.
And if the last five minutes before you're just going off to sleep, you're thinking about all the things that went wrong and how this didn't happen, and this is never going to work for me, and I'm not financially, and I'm sick, and this doesn't work. Aren't you programming your subconscious mind? And then you wake up, and the universe just offers you this,
we agree with
experiences that match up to what you've placed in there. Yeah. So those last 5 minutes, it seems to me, it's like you want to put in there all of your I ams. I am content.
Here's the thing. If you've had a hard day, you can't just say it different in the last 5 minutes, because the universe doesn't hear what you say. The universe hears how you feel. So your best chance of really feeling good is after a night of momentum slowing, rather than after a day of momentum increasing.
That's very, very well said.
Yeah. Certainly, it's always better to speak positively. But don't you find yourself sometimes challenging your own thoughts? People will say, it's like my thoughts are thinking me. And we say, if you've got a negative train of thought going, what you want to do is make it more general if you can. Just generalize it. Step back from it if you can.
I'm just thinking in terms of you're going to sleep for 8 hours, let's say, and you're going to marinate in whatever thoughts that you have just fulfilled your subconscious
Not really.
mind. No?
That's the thing that we're really wanting to explain, is that law of attraction, the momentum of law of attraction, is not active while you are unconscious. Now, it's logical that when you wake up, you'll refocus and you'll get that your propensity of thought is already there. But that can change with this new discussion about getting a different trajectory going. Someone the other day gave us the best word, because he's been deliberately getting on that high-flying disc and staying there with some success. He's in his 60th or 70th day of that. And he said, now it's beginning to feel like I'm tethered there. Like, sometimes I'll dip down, but it's like a bungee cord that takes me right back up. And we said, that's exactly what we're saying about this non-physical you. You're tethered to this pure positive energy. But you've practiced not being there enough that you've sort of stretched your bungee cord to its limits. And now you're dangling around in vibrations that don't serve you and that are not really who you are. But it doesn't take much to get that elasticity back so that...
Is this like a conditioning process? I mean, like from the time they were little boys and
Yeah.
little girls, we're told what we can do, what we can't do, what's possible, what's not
by
possible.
those who don't know. By those who are looking from lower discs, who are wanting to prepare you for the inevitable failure that they think you will live. And in the early days, you didn't like that at all. You protested in the beginning. You did. You protested. And the source within you knows who you are and is always reminding you. That's why at 313, some of those thoughts flow.